Number 1. The Trojan horse. Letting a gift from the enemy into Troy literally ended a civilization. After a 10-year siege, the Greeks appeared to admit defeat, leaving behind only this giant wooden horse as an offering to the gods. The Trojans, believing the war was over, saw it as a symbol of peace and a trophy of victory. With joyous celebration, they brought the gift inside their impenetrable walls. But inside the horse waited the enemy. That night, they opened the gates for the rest of the Greek army. Troy was sacked, its people enslaved, and its great civilization was lost forever. All because they trusted a gift from their enemy. Number 2. Napoleon invades Russia, 1812. In 1812, Napoleon led the largest army Europe had ever seen, over 600,000 men, into Russia. Confident of a swift victory. But he ignored one crucial detail: the Russian winter. His grand army was shattered not by battle, but by bitter cold, starvation, and disease. But 400,000 troops were lost, a catastrophic miscalculation that changed the course of history. Number 3. The Titanic's speed. The unsinkable ship was sailing at near full speed, a record-breaking pace, cutting through the icy North Atlantic. But multiple warnings of icebergs were sent from other ships. They were clear and urgent. Yet the decision was made to maintain speed, a fatal choice driven by pride and a desire for glory. Single mistake that sealed the fate of over 1,500 people. Number 4. The Great Wall myth. Built to be an unbeatable barrier, a symbol of absolute defense against the world's fiercest invaders. But here's the twist. Most successful invasions didn't involve breaking through the wall. It happened through bribes, treachery, and simply opening the gates. Number 5. The Mars Climate Orbiter, 1999. A $327 million mission to study Mars. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. The root cause: a simple unit conversion error. One team used metric, the other used imperial. This misunderstanding's fed the orbiter screaming into Mars's atmosphere at 58,000 km/h, where it was destroyed. The last contact with the orbiter was on September 23, 1999. It was lost forever. A stark reminder that in space exploration, precision is everything, and even the smallest misunderstanding can have catastrophic consequences. Number 6. The Bay of Pigs invasion. The US government had a plan and a huge, flawed assumption. They believed the Cuban people would rise up against Castro and join the invading force. They were wrong. Instead of a popular uprising, the invaders faced fierce resistance from the Cuban military and a loyal population. But the mission collapsed in just 3 days, becoming a major political embarrassment for the United States. Its failed invasion solidified Castro's rule and set the stage for decades of hostile relations. A classic case of miscalculating the enemy. Number 7. The Charge of the Light Brigade. In 1854, during the Crimean War, a misunderstood order would lead to one of the most heroic and tragic mistakes in military history. A vague command sent the Light Brigade charging not against enemy guns on the flank, but directly down a valley lined with Russian cannons. Into the Valley of Death rode the 600. A futile charge against overwhelming firepower, all because of a poorly worded command. Testament to the cost of confusion and the terrible prot of war. Number 8. The Maginot Line. France spent billions building the world's most impenetrable fortress, a 280-mile-long wall of concrete, steel, and firepower. It was a technological marvel, a symbol of national security. But they forgot one tiny detail: the border with Belgium. In 1940, German tanks simply went around it. Unstoppable fortress was rendered irrelevant in a matter of days. A lesson in strategy that cost a nation everything. Number 9. The unsinkable Titanic plane. They called her unsinkable. A masterpiece of 20th century engineering, deemed impossible to fail. But this overconfidence led to a fatal flaw. The ship only carried enough lifeboats for about half of its passengers. What if they had prepared for the worst, instead of trusting in the best-case scenario? Titanic's legacy is a stark reminder. No one is too big to fail. Overconfidence is the real iceberg. Number 10. The Google domain misspelling. The world's most powerful search engine was born from a simple typo. It was meant to be Google. The Google is a 1 followed by 100 zeros. A number so large, it's bigger than all the atoms in the known universe. But when the founders tried to buy Google.com, it was already taken. In a stroke of accidental genius, they registered Google instead. The rest is history. A simple misspelling that became a verb, a brand, and global phenomenon. Number 11. The CIA's acoustic cat program. In the 1960s, the CIA had a brilliant idea. Turn ordinary cats into sophisticated spies. They surgically implanted microphones and transmitters, training the cats to eavesdrop on Soviet targets. But on its very first mission, the cat was hit by a Taxon. The mission was a total failure. Instead of spending millions, the program was quietly shut down. A perfect example of a historical blunder. Number 12. Ancient Olympic cheating. It wasn't just about athletic prowess, it was a high-stakes game of deception. Early athletes, desperate for glory, often bribed judges. Victory at any cost was the unwritten rule for some, but the price of getting caught was severe. Greece installed shame statues of the guilty, permanent public humiliation for them and their families. Stark reminder from history. True victory is not bought, but earned. The spirit of fair play is the oldest and the pick tradition of all. Number 13. The fall of Constantinople. In 1453, 200,000 Ottoman soldiers laid siege to the last bastion of the Byzantine Empire, defended by just 7,000 men. After months of brutal attacks, the city's fate wasn't decided by a grand battle, but by a single, forgotten detail. A small postern gate, the Kirkeporta, had been left unlocked. The Ottomans poured through the gap. Byzantine Empire, which had stood for over 1,000 years, fell because of one unlocked gate. A mistake that changed the course of history. Number 14. Vikings in North America. They reached it 500 years before Columbus, then just left. Why? Was it war with the natives? Famine? A divine sign? Actually, it was bad business. They couldn't find enough gold or riches to make the journey worthwhile. Oh, they sailed back home. The New World would have to wait another 5 centuries. History, eh? Number 15. The Hindenburg coating. The Titanic of the skies. A symbol of luxury and engineering. But its greatest feature was also its fatal flaw. Its outer coating was a highly flammable concoction, essentially the same chemical mix as solid rocket fuel. When a spark ignited the hydrogen, this volatile coating turned a single explosion into an unstoppable inferno. Simple coating, designed to reflect heat, ended up being the key ingredient in one of history's most shocking disasters.